Hello and welcome to my 8th tutorial offering mathematical support to students studying the Open University module TM111, Introduction to Computing and Information Technology, and today we're going to be looking at arithmetic involving numbers in the scientific notation. Just as a reminder, numbers in the scientific notation are of this format. They're of the form A, where A is a real decimal number, and its value is equal or greater than 1 but less than 10. So it can go up to a maximum value of about 9.9999, etc. So the first part is a single number followed by a decimal point and some decimal places, and the second part is 10 raised to a particular power n, where n can be a positive or negative whole number. So in my home, my broadband speed is 20 megabits. Mega is 10 to the 6, so therefore 20 times 10 to the 6. If I want to turn this into scientific notation, I will move my decimal point one place to the left to get 2, and if I've moved my decimal point one place to the left, I add 1 to the power of 10, so 10 to the 6 becomes 10 to the 7. So my broadband speed can be represented in scientific notation in the form 2.0 times 10 to the power of 7 bits per second. Again, let's have a look at the anatomy of a number in scientific notation. The A, we give it a nice name called the mantissa, whereas 10 to the power of n, we call that the exponent part of the number. So a number in scientific notation is made up of two parts, the mantissa and the exponent. And when we do our calculations, when we do our arithmetic, we can look at doing two types of calculations, one on the mantissa and one on the exponent. And to illustrate this, let's have a look at multiplying two numbers together. Here's my first number, 2.54 times 10 to the power of 9, and I'm going to multiply that by my second number, 6.75 times 10 to the power of 4. Now, in multiplying or dividing numbers in scientific notation, we just simply split the number into its two components. So we'll split off the two mantissas and we'll split off the two exponents. And now we can do the arithmetic on the mantissa part, so I can just simply multiply 2.54 by 6.75 and get 17.145. And on the exponent side, I can multiply 10 to the power of 9 by 10 to the power of 4, and here, remember, we just simply add the exponents together, so 9 plus 4 will give me 13. And now I bring the two numbers back together again, so my answer is actually 17.145 times 10 to the power of 13. But we like our answers back in scientific notation, so here again I'll move that decimal point one place to the left, so I've got a single digit decimal point and some decimal places, and since I've moved it one place to the left, I'm going to add 1 to the exponent, so 10 to the 13 becomes 10 to the 14. So that's the answer to this particular calculation. If I'd asked for the division to be done, then I'll still split my number into its two components. So I'll have all the mantissa parts pulled out and the exponent parts pulled out. So again, we'll divide 2.54 by 6.75, so we can do that division on the mantissas, and then the exponent we can divide 10 to the power of 9 by 10 to the power of 4. There's the calculation for the division of the mantissa parts, and the exponent division, of course, it's when I divide by a power, I simply bring it to the top line, change its sign and multiply, which means I add the exponents together. In this case, it'll be 10 to the 9 multiplied by 10 to the minus 4, in which case I will end up with 10 to the power of 9 minus 4, giving me 10 to the power of 5. So again, I bring the two solutions back together again, and so my answer is 0.3763 times 10 to the power of 5. I've rounded my answer to 4 decimal places just to keep it simple. And now again, the mantissa part is not in scientific notation, so I'll move my decimal point one place to the right. So I've got my single digit, 3, a decimal point followed by some decimal places. And because I've moved my decimal point to the right this time, I will take 1 off the exponent. So I'll end up with 10 to the power of 4. Notice because I've moved the decimal place one part to the right, I've only ended up with 3 decimal places. So the signage there to show that my number has been rounded is saying this is now rounded to 3 decimal places. Remember, more help on the arithmetic and calculations of scientific numbers and more mathematical support can be found on my website, whose URL is given there. Thank you for listening.